comment. You keep your pants on this week, though.
All right. Episode 13 of the Hear Me Out podcast. I'm Eric.
Brandon.
Donnovant.
And we have a special guest, Mr. Jason Louder, a friend of the show, friend to all of us since 6th, 7th, 8th grade, something like that. We all been friends for a long time. So screen actor, Mr. 2-Bit himself.
All around great guy.
What was the other name?
Oh, Cressy,
yeah. So he's here. Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
man. Hey, it's so good to see y'all, man. Like I was saying earlier, and it's so dope that, like, man, we pick up right where we left. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't miss a beat. So it's like, oh man, this is so cool. So man, I just thank y'all for just having me, man, for inviting me to the Bill with the Brothers. So like I said, like I'm Jason Louder, at AT Alien, born and raised, you know what I'm saying? Another AT Alien in the house. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, I call myself a lover of life. So I'm an actor, a teacher, a mentor, a coach, I'm a creative. I'm a creative. So a creative who loves life. So that's who I am in a nutshell, man. That's who I am.
And also some kind of speaker, I heard.
Oh, I'm the Georgia Southern University 2021 graduation commencement speaker.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
That's big.
Yo, it's mind blowing, bro.
Whoa.
I love it.
Hey, you need a speechwriter?
No, I gotta write.
I got good rates.
Oh, word. Okay, hey, I'm gonna holler at you, B.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
Okay.
Jealousy from within. Yo, it's great to have you, Jay, man. On top of all that stuff, he was my ninth grade power forward, and literally the fun. You forgot about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And literally the person behind probably one of the funniest moments I ever witnessed. Donovan, you were there in that Taco Bell in ninth grade. Senior year. Remember that?
I was at a Taco Bell with Jay too.
You remember that? Yeah, that was it. Jason doesn't remember though, man.
I don't remember.
I'll tell that story at the end of the show. Yeah,
okay.
Funniest moment ever though, man.
Wow, that's what's up.
Great to have you, man.
Thank y'all, brothers.
Love it.
Yeah. All right, so it's time for what's the best thing that happened to you this week? Who's up?
I'll go first. Well, yeah. So a good friend asked me to be their best man. He's going to pop the question. I'm not going to say who it is in case they happen to see this. But I'm going to send it to every friend of mine that has a girlfriend, so they all think they're about to get proposed to. Only one of them is going to be the winner.
It ain't me.
So we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I felt it was like a big honor, you know. Just because he said I'd been there through highs and lows and whatnot, and he wanted me to stand by him. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Dope.
So you said yes.
I said yes, but only if I could write his speech and her speech as well, so I can put it on my resume. Why y'all tripping?
Yo.
All right.
Yeah, but that was good. That was the best thing that happened to me this week.
All right, Donnie.
3-year-old is using the potty, so that's like a real big deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like peeing, dumping. So we're moving on that potty train. So that's what's good with me.
Almost 3. Whoa.
All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna save Jason some time here. I'm gonna say that for myself, I got a haircut.
Yeah.
Shout out to my barber. Thank you. I needed it so bad. So thank you, Lula. And then Jay, what about you? Best thing that happened to you this week?
I just actually got accepted to teachers training program with one of the top acting studios. I'll be training with them in preparation to start, teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So,
love it.
I love it.
Love it.
There we go.
Spread that energy.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
Let's get
dive
into it.
in. Let's get into it.
Dive in.
All right, so let's talk Vanessa Bryant. Let's talk about the Kobe deal or the expiration of the Kobe deal. It looks like Nike and the Bryant estate, aka Miss Bryant, couldn't come to an agreement for Nike. So as of April 13th or April 18th, I think it's April 18th. There are no more Nike sneakers being created for Kobe or whatever. So it's one of the longest standing signature line deals for Nike. I think it's probably second behind Jordan. Quite apropos, I guess. But it's a big huge deal. Like sneakerheads are upset or whatever. Let's talk about it.
Well, I had planned on buying some new Kobe's this week. Should have done it last week. They legit went from like 150 to like 1,050, which was kind of crazy. But I found it interesting. She was saying that one of the reasons she pulled back was because she was kind of frustrated with some of the limited releases of the shoes and the majority of Kobe fans not having access to be able to wear her late husband's gear. So I thought that was kind of dope that she wants to make the shoe more accessible to people that were fans of Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe, was a phenomenal basketball player. I will admit that I was not a fan of Kobe until after he stopped playing ball. I was more a fan of Kobe the businessman, Kobe the entrepreneur, Kobe the leader than I was Kobe the basketball player. So really, I started wearing his shoes, ironically, his basketball shoes, because of who he was after his basketball career. So I think it's really dope that she kind of thinks of Kobe in a long-term vision like that as well, that she just wants to make the shoe more accessible to everybody. And I hope so, man. I'm not spending $1,000 on shoes. I don't have it like you, E, or I just can't do that. Can't do that.
What? I mean, she's a G, right? To be like, here's what I want.
Oh, yeah.
You either go give it to me or not. 20% of NBA players wear Jordans. Never had a problem getting Kobe's until after he passed. And so I heard they only do 300 in each size. So you waited till he passed, and then now like that's a way for people to connect with him. And she was frustrated. She's like, we're not going to do this because she doesn't want people to not have access to his memory. So I shout out to her for shutting down.
300 in each size sounds extra.
No, you're absolutely right. It was $299 as a matter of fact. $299 in each size. I read that. It was crazy.
That's insane. That's less than half of 1% of the shoe wearing population.
Correct.
That just doesn't make sense. So she's right to demand more. I mean, a limited run. I mean, because you're talking about less than 10,000 shoes at that point. If you're talking about size 5s to size 15s or 17s or whatever it is, or whatever I mean, that's only 10,000 shoes.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so Nike would have to do better. It doesn't make sense to me that would even like has that always been the case or just recently been the case?
I don't know. I'm pulling up the article now, but yeah, I read that.
I think it's just recent because I've never had trouble like getting them. You know what I'm saying? They used to be on the shelves. Like nobody was really getting them because they were getting Kyrie's or KD's. You know what I'm saying? So it's never been an issue.
But you can't wear your Kyrie and KD's on back-to-back days because they got to rest some. So you can't wear them. They don't do back-to-back days, so you can't wear them. So that's why you have to buy more.
A limited. I mean, because like a limited run typically for Nike is somewhere in the range of like 300,000 shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So for a whole batch to just be less than 10,000, I think I'm right, and that's just I'm horrible in math, but I think that's close.
Yeah, I can't find the original story, but I read it was like $299.
Where'd they get that number? Like they just
I
that
have
number?
no idea.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I don't know. I can't remember if it was $299 or 300 over a period of time. Then they redid some more, but I do remember they were only producing 300 pair per size. I do remember reading that in the article, which is crazy. Yeah,
disrespectful.
Very crazy.
Yeah,
It is.
So I mean, like definitely like shout out to Vanessa Bryant for riding for Kobe's fans, right? Like that's big or whatever. And now apparently, I mean, she might not have been with him shooting in the gym, but she with him right now. She making sure that everybody gets the opportunity, hopefully with whatever the deal is. That
they're not going to lose that.
Whatever shoe company, more than likely it's going to be Adidas or something. It'd have to be like Adidas or something like that because that was the original shoe company, right? Adidas.
They own the Mamba. They own the Mamba. Something else, and then Nike owns something else. So the complete design is not hers, but half of it, something like that, is. So she could take that and start a Kobe Bryant line if she wanted to.
By the Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but she'll have to. But the problem is, like, you have to get like somebody to actually make the shoes, or whatever. And you see what kind of trouble, like, Big Baller Brand had with getting shoes made, right? Like they couldn't get the production right, they couldn't get the equipment right, or whatever, the actual shoes right, or whatever. And Lonzo famously said like he was having to change out those shoes every quarter or whatever, every quarter of every game because they were falling apart. They couldn't stand up to actual basketball standards. So maybe she hopefully she doesn't go to like Under Armour or something like that because they make those god ugly shoes for Steph.
RN Classic. I call them RN Classic, the nurse shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
like go to that label with Dwayne Wade. It's already in China. She probably won't do anything, but at least she stepped away because I think it was a problem with people not being able to get access to the Mamba shoes.
She'll go back to Nike. They'll renegotiate. It's too big of a loss for their end. He's too iconic of a person. Following Jordan basketball speaking until LeBron retires, I'm not sure if there's a bigger icon. They'll renegotiate. They don't want to lose that. Whatever the issue was, I think they kind of have to fold to her to some degree. It's not long term.
Yeah, like I can't see her saying I'm pulling away from you guys to make sure that Kobe's legacy and people get access to his shoes, and then her going, I'm not doing anything because that's honestly, it's a huge revenue stream for her and her girls.
Yeah,
they hurt.
And she's legacy, and she's about she's legacy building too. But I was gonna say, is Nike losing? Like, are they losing? Like, I would think that they're losing out. You know what I'm saying? So that's like almost asinine of them.
Yeah,
they're not losing out. They're only making 300 pair because the resellers are getting them and they're making money. So Nike's not missing out. 300 a pair, $200 pop. They're not missing a lot.
They probably get some, they're getting some money somewhere. Nike's super smart.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, they're not the biggest shoe company in the world for no reason or whatever. So there's a business reason for making them as limited as they are. If they're getting money on the back end or whatever from somehow or another, they're getting money somewhere. There's no way. It doesn't make good business. It's not a good business move for them not to.
Right.
Got me buying Kobe's out some trunk in Beaver Highway. Crazy.
Let me know.
Crazy.
Let me know.
All right, good stuff.
All right, so let's move to another topic. We had the Derek Chauvin verdict, guilty on all on all 3 counts, which I'm super excited for, and I'm super shocked. I thought that they would get maybe 1, possibly 2. No way in my wildest dreams did I think that they would get 3. That he would be found guilty of all 3. But after the verdict, the thing that I think one of the things that was really interesting, kind of keeping with the sports theme, is what Brett Favre said. And I'll let Donnie, you wanna talk through that?
Yeah, Brett Favre said that he didn't even meant to kill George Floyd.
Was he there?
Say I disagree. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you can kneel on top of another human being. And the trial showed graphically that he was pulling his hands away and doing everything he possibly could to hurt him more. And for you to do those kinds of things, it definitely showed. It showed 12 people. It showed 12 jury members that he was trying to kill him or whatever. I mean, and Brett Favre, the scholar that he is says that he didn't think that Chauvin meant to kill him. Well, we don't believe you. You need more people. 12 jurors said no. Said 12 jurors said he absolutely did, and that's why all three of those charges came back guilty.
Man, I'll tell you what though, like it was so weird for me. It was like a weird emotional day because the verdict, even the guilty verdict, like brought back all the initial pain for me for some reason. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was because I don't know if maybe relief is the right word, but like I was so anxious about what was going to happen, and then the fact that I was anxious about whether or not he was going to be found guilty or not guilty, like it really brought back all those emotions from when he originally had an incident with Derek Chauvin and was killed. It just it was crazy. Like it wasn't even like I was excited that Derek Chauvin got found guilty. I was just kind of still like sad all over again that this was even a thing. It really was. It really messed with me. I was so numb to it.
I can agree with that because I had it on one day, a couple of days, and they were showing, the arrest or what have you, or the murder, and it was emotional, right? And then after the verdict, I tried to go to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram to kind of get away, and it was everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
So it became really, really heavy. I just had to kind of step back and step away from it. But it's crazy because I kind of agree with Brett Favre. Like, did he do it? Did he do it? Yes, that's not negotiable, right? That's not whatever. Arrogant asshole, and was just like, this is what I'm doing, and ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do, and I'm the cop and I can do what I want to, type of a thing. To think that somebody like meant to kill him, like that's I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not in his psyche, I don't know, but that's a twisted mind, right? So there it is.
Well, I mean, twisted minds exist.
Yeah, I say they didn't. I'm just saying, like, I just don't think did it because he's an arrogant asshole, and I think that's just where it is.
Intention. It comes with a lot of weight, right? So like for someone to I don't know, man, for someone to physically harm, like he intentionally set his knee on this guy's neck, and I think with the training, on George Floyd's neck, and I think with the training that they get, I think that they know. It's like they know how much pressure. It's like a knowing to that. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and like I agree with you, Donnovant. Like, yeah, asshole, absolutely. Look at what I can do, and so that's what I think. That's what made it seem like, yeah, he meant to do that. He meant to make this man suffer to the point to where he did kill him.
You know what's kind of crazy though? Like after the verdict, I'm sorry, go ahead. Now I was going to say after the verdict, one of the things, like, and this is messed up in my head, I was like, man, I'm kind of glad he was found guilty so that no other deaths would come as a result of this incident. Because I really think that if he were to have been let off of any of the charges or maybe just slapped with manslaughter, that there might have been more turmoil that erupted in Minneapolis. There definitely would have been more stuff that would have erupted in Minneapolis, and who knows how many more senseless deaths might have occurred. And that, man, I just would not be able to process that. Like going all the way back to like when Atlanta was on fire and the College Football Hall of Fame was being broken into and like that, man, that type of emotion from these oh man, it just wore me out. So I'm glad that America kind of moved forward or showed some type of progress in this, and people or officers being held accountable for these actions, for this specific action anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely I agree with you on that. It's definitely a step forward. But it's like it's like, okay,
yeah.
Now we can it's like a breath,
a short one though,
a short breath, and
yeah.
It's like, all right, now let's get back to the work.
I mean, because the reality for me is I'm the fact that I was holding my breath, hoping that he would get guilty on at least one count. And the fact that when you've got so much undeniable video evidence, and we've had it before on different cases or whatever, and the fact that you have to hold your breath, and there's so much angst and anxiety about things actually going the right way or going in the way of justice and accountability, that is one of the things that I think we have to work on.
Yeah.
And if we don't work on it, we're going to continue to see the pattern over and over again. And then this verdict ends up looking like an appeasement of people instead of an actual step forward. So I think the first thing that I posted after that was, guilty guilty of all charges. And then I was like, but in the words of Kobe Bryant, job's not done. There were still three other cops, three other cops that were there.
Yeah.
Whatever, that need to be held accountable for it,
Yeah.
including Officer Tao, who was standing there and refused to turn around and do anything or whatever. So there's that, and then just as a segue, like Brandon said a little bit earlier, is a very, very short breath. At the same time, or roughly the same time that verdict came out, Micaiah Bryant in Ohio was being shot by another police officer in a completely unrelated event or whatever, and that was disturbing in other ways. And I think we can delve into it if you guys want to, if you guys are finished with Chauvin and Brett Favre's comments.
I got one more thing to say about this trial with Chauvin. A lot of people were saying, like, why are they even deliberating? Why are we having the trial when we all saw this officer, kneel on George Floyd's neck? And my response to people was, because that's the way it's supposed to go. No matter what the crime is, no matter what the criminal does, they have a right to a fair trial, right? So I'm not going to say, oh, well, give this black guy that committed a crime, give him a fair trial. Don't slaughter him in the streets, but then say, well, don't give Derek Chauvin a fair trial. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? The system has to be balanced where everybody receives it. That's really all I want. I want people to get what they're supposed to get and have what their day in court, which is really what this all comes down to. And I would love to talk about this Micaiah Bryant, because I see this very differently from some of these other cases.
Well, and real quick, I was wondering, like, it's interesting to see, or I just would say, what would society, what would it look like if we were to go back to some of the before BC, when they were like an eye for an eye? Would society be out of control? Because I'm like, if you murder someone, the exchange, it's an equal exchange. Is you're gonna get murdered too. So I'm like, man, I wonder how will we operate? But that's a side note. I'm just
there's obviously still some countries in this world that do operate like that. I think
true.
Or at least maybe if it's not an eye for an eye, it's like you lose a hand type of thing. Like, I think that still exists.
Yeah.
That's still the same rule.
Yeah.
Hammurabi's rule.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Is
So
that your boy or something? Like, did you grow up with this Robbie dude or what?
Ham and Robbie. Yeah, Ham and Robbie. Yeah, I'm Ham.
I don't know him.
Robbie.
Did he go to school with us?
That's
He
how
went
we
to the
do it.
wood.
Definitely did not.
That's how we do it.
No, Ma'Khia Bryant. No, that was so quickly after that Chauvin case that occurred, and that was that kind of stirred up a lot of emotions. I think a lot of people, including LeBron James, Diamond, that was your cue, including LeBron James, kind of rushed to action or judgment on that, and I think that's where we have to be careful. I was about to say as a people, but I mean people as a whole, to look at each case or each incident or each person individually, as opposed to thinking that, another officer just, randomly killed a person of color. And I don't think that was necessary. I do not believe that was the case in this Ma'Khia Bryant situation. I'll let somebody else set up the story, like, who's much better at it.
Anybody want to set it up?
I'll let somebody wearing a blue shirt set it up.
Pass the phone to somebody wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
All right. So, as the video that I saw of the Ma'Khia Bryant situation, I saw a 6-minute video and watched it probably about 100 times. And what I saw was that the police officers, they're getting the call. I could hear the audio and everything. They got a call from somebody saying that there was some fighting going on or whatever. You see the police officer pull up, and as he's pulling up, the person on the phone goes, "Oh, the police are here. Never mind, or whatever. I'll just talk to them." And then you see the police officer get out. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but as he's walking up, he sees a lady in pink, and she's carrying a small dog, and he says, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then from the background, you hear somebody say, "This is my mama's house. Get off our property," or something like that. So right after that statement, then you see somebody start charging towards the officer or whatever, charging in his general direction. As that person charges, there's another girl standing off to the right of the officer, and that person charges her, pushes her down. The next thing you see is a grown man kicking and stomping the girl that was on the ground. In the meantime, the girl who had just knocked the other girl down turns around and charges the girl in the pink, who at that point was behind her. She charges her, and at this point, the police officer has drawn his gun, and he says, "Get down, get down, get down." And he's yelling pretty loud, "Get down, get down." And you see Ma'Khia, who's the person who's knocked over that one girl, and is charging at the other girl with a knife in her hand, looking to stab the other girl that had the dog in the pink. And then you hear bop 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 bop, 4 shots or whatever, and the guy that was summarily stomping the other girl yells out, you just shot my baby." So that was Ma'Khia's dad, and he was like, "Why did you do that? Are you stupid or something?" And then it goes on and on from there. But that's the picture of what happened, and I'll insert that so that everybody can see.
Insert here. How you say you do it? Right here.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that was crazy, man. I think that officer, after watching that video, like trying to process that whole scene, what was going on, and I believe he was the only officer on the scene, right?
No. There was
another one there.
There was 2 other officers there.
Okay, well, he's the only one that took action. But yeah, I think that officer really, to be honest with you, I thought he handled that circumstance extremely well. I thought he showed some restraint up to the point where somebody was going to lose their life because of the actions of Ma'Khia Bryant. So I heard people say he took a life. I'm like, well, he also saved a life. He had to process a lot of information very quickly, and I hope he doesn't become an example and get tied to maybe other situations where officers didn't use good judgment. But this officer, I think, did his job, did what he should have done in that situation, and it's still unfortunate that Ma'Khia Bryant died and that her father had to watch her death. But it might have been UE or somebody else. Maybe if the father wasn't busy stomping the girl on the ground and actually trying to restrain his daughter, then maybe she'd still be alive as well.
Don't step on my story. I got to tell that part of it.
You better not edit it out. I said it.
You said it
Then I
first.
will definitely be editing your part out. Yeah.
What's your thoughts, D? Don, you about to say something?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to. I've been like, for the most part, I won't watch any of the incidents until like after everybody's said their piece or spoken, and I just want I'll sit and just look at it from my heart, you know what I'm saying, and sit back and look at all sides. And I wasn't gonna look at it, Ian, until you told me that was gonna be a topic. So I did watch it, and it was split seconds, and it was like, wow, how can someone process something, all that was happening in split seconds? And I was wondering, I thought he was the only officer as well. So I didn't. Yeah, I guess I need to watch it again because I only watched it once, and I only saw him.
So there's a second body cam view from another officer.
Okay.
From just, I mean, and in the video, if you watch it, you'll see that there's another police car behind his when he pulled up. There's another car behind him, or whatever, okay. and so there's a police officer off to the left that you don't see in the video or whatever, and that's his body cam from that view.
Okay. Yeah. It just I'm always wondering, like, why not pull out a taser? I don't know, man. When it's like, I know that there was a knife, and I'm like, that's a knife though. Like, just pull out a taser and tase, because it's like, I'm not a police officer. I've never been in that situation, so I can never, you know what I'm saying, expect him to do what I would do, right? So it's kind of like he was under. It was a lot going on at one time. But I just always want to know, why can't you pull out a taser, and why couldn't he have done that? I don't know, man.
I actually had a conversation with the officer that day. Eric, you want to lean into it? I can go ahead and talk about it.
I was going to tell another point. If you want to talk about that, you can talk about that. But I was
sure. Yeah, it's the Jason's point. So I actually trying to volunteer with the local police department here in my community, right? So I had the opportunity to talk to an officer very openly about that, and it's really like he was a field training officer, so he kind of went through how officers process those type of situations, and if it's an immediate threat to somebody's life, and if I butcher this, please correct me, E, but like that's where they make the decision between using a taser and a gun. Because their job is to make sure they can immediately stop the threat to life. So that's why they pull the gun as opposed to the taser, which I didn't know that, but they're trained to do that.
Yeah. So the problem that a lot of people are saying is there's a couple of things. I just want to kind of make sure we get these out and get these clear, right? So I've heard people say. He could have shot her in the leg, could have shot her in the arm, could have hit her, could have used the taser. They also have police officer also has an aspartame, also has OC spray, pepper spray, or whatever. So they have all of those things on their belts or whatever, right around them. And the speed with which that happened, it looked like the first thing he did was he, unfortunately, because your gun's on your dominant hand, the first thing he did was he reached for his gun. If he had reached for his taser, he probably would have hit her would have shot her with the taser. Yeah. So whatever he had in his hands is what he would have done to if he didn't have anything in his hands. He might have tried to go tackle her. It happened really quickly, but police officers are trained to handle things in a split second. And he seemed calm coming up to the scenario or whatever. His tone when he asked the first lady the question was very, very calm and questioning, and I didn't detect any attitude or anything. Hey, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, basically all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have is I feel like the father and all of the rest of the adults that were around that were watching it and videoing it, they failed Micaiah. They failed it. Her father is the person who I fault the most because when she knocked that girl down, he went to stomping that girl. He went to kicking the girl that was on the ground. Number one, I don't agree that men should be kicking women. I think that's the wrong thing to do in 99.9% of scenarios. I'm sure there's a 0.1% somewhere where I'll be like, well, maybe, but that was
say 100 for the record.
That was not it, right?
I say 100 too.
So
thank you. Yeah, smart move.
But when I saw that as a father, the first thing I think is after I see my daughter do that, the first thing I'm going to do, especially when I see the police there, is I'm going to wrap my daughter up. My job is to protect my daughter. My job is to protect my family. That is the job that each one of us that have families, that is the biggest thing that we can do is protect our family. And he did not do that.
No.
And not in any credible way. Not in any credible way. And I put her blood on his hands because he could have stopped his daughter. He could have grabbed his daughter, and that would have taken the police officer completely out of the scenario. And even before that, with everything that was going on, you grab your family, you take your family inside. They're not coming in my house.
Yeah.
Those people outside that were having a problem, because what we've heard is that Micaiah was the one who called the police. She was the one who called. If she was the one that called them, you were somewhere with a phone. Okay, you called the police. Now go inside. That's what you need. Like, protect yourself. And allow your family and those walls to protect you and your family. You don't need to be out there. And unfortunately, she ended up getting shot. I would prefer that he hit her with a taser, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And I've seen countless videos now of officers being attacked by people with knives, and those officers did not shoot those folks. And I'm like, okay. I mean, and unfortunately, what I've seen is those officers being attacked by white people, and them not shooting them. And I saw a black cop get attacked by a guy. He just turned around and stabbed the cop in the neck with a knife. And the cop had his gun out. He put his gun away, pulled the taser out as the guy was running away from him. As the guy was running away from him, he tased him and then got him under control, even though he was still fighting him with the knife.
He got stabbed in the neck and did all that?
He got cut on the neck. It wasn't in, but it cut him in the neck.
Okay.
And he still was able to subdue him and everything. Now, the thing that's different about that scenario to me is that Micaiah was making a move towards another person, where the guy was making a move towards the police officer who felt like he could defend himself. And this officer may not have felt like he could defend the girl who was being attacked. And when I look at the way that she charged through those other people, knocked that other girl down, turned away and went to stab, the first thing that I think of was she was in a murderous rage. And that's what I think that the officer saw. He was like, I don't know. He was like, I got this out, and I have to stop this girl, or she's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah. And then what would have been the storyline, you know? But I'll tell you what, if somebody's coming at me with a knife and I have a gun, like I'm 100% going to use the gun. like you know, even if I have a hammer or a taser, like if they're coming at me with a knife, especially towards my neck, like they getting shot. So the officer that you said used the taser, that's like restraint beyond restraint right there. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
But I thought the officer did a good job in the case of Ma'Khia Bryant. Did the best he could with the situation that was before him. You know, unfortunately, like I said, somebody still lost their life, which is heavy.
I can't say he did a good job, but he stopped her from stabbing the other girl. I'm not happy with the results, so I can't say that was a good job because somebody got killed.
Yeah, but you go to kill somebody with a knife and you die, like you want to go kill somebody with a knife, like like that could happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the cops
feels different.
Their thing is protect and serve, and she was about to murder somebody. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I was disappointed in the hashtags, right? For people putting those up. And I'm glad the officer goes to the range because he put 4 bullets in her and he could have shot somebody else had he not been, accurate because the other girl, to Miss Bryant. So, I think the situation is unfortunate. A lot of what could have, should have, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is, the officer came on the scene and he saved the other girl's life. So,
yeah,
there it is.
Those are dangerous shots. Whatever he's got a Glock 19 or Glock 17 or whatever, and that could have gone at the close proximity. That bullet could have gone through her body and hit the other girl. So that to me, I was like, that was a little dangerous. That more than a little dangerous.
And that's Monday morning quarterback though, man.
Yeah, basically.
Like got that long to decide, So
yeah,
sad situation.
Yeah. Definitely a sad situation. This is surprising that both Brandon, Donovan, and I actually agree on this. I feel like
I changed my vote.
I feel like I should disagree. I feel like I should disagree for some reason.
I changed my vote.
But I think, man, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, like you said, like there's been situations where, with white, some white folks that came at police and threatened police and physically, violently, but were tased. So it's like, it just makes you wonder, like, man, is that the protocol for a situation where black people are involved? Like, that automatically gun danger, imminent danger, got it cleared out. But I'm like y'all said, he did. I guess was thinking about the young lady in the pink. Yeah. I gotta save her. I gotta defend her. But man, oh man.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's the thing about it is, I'll say from a legal perspective, and I'm not an attorney or whatever, but from a legal perspective, I think that if he gets tried, which he should get tried for it, but if
who should get tried for what?
The police officer. I mean, with all of the hypersensitivity, he's gonna get put on trial or something.
Well, I think they'll do an investigation, but you think he's gonna actually get put on trial?
Somebody was killed. Well, maybe not a trial, but he's gonna get investigated.
They'll do an investigation because there was a shooting and a death, right? But 100% he shouldn't get tried for that. Like that would be crazy.
I don't know about it being crazy, but with the current climate, the best thing that could happen is that there's a trial.
No, man, I disagree.
You can disagree.
Because you have to look at every situation independently. That's what I was saying before, man. You can't just lump this all together because then you just trial by public opinion. That's not what this should be.
we don't live, as we all know, we don't live in a utopian society, and because we don't live in a utopian society, there's certain rules and unwritten rules that we have to abide by. One of the things that we're gonna have to abide by for the near future is over litigation of instances like this. It's gonna have to happen, or whatever. And though this is crystal clear for you, Brandon, and possibly Donovan, there are millions of people that vehemently disagree, or whatever, with your point, or whatever. What'd you say?
What are they going to charge him with?
Saving a life?
They'll charge him. They'll charge him with manslaughter, I believe.
No.
Yeah, I just don't see any way how one citizen was coming at another citizen with a deadly weapon with the intent to hurt or possibly kill them. An officer stops that person. I just that's literally in his job description in that sense. Like that's crazy.
Protect and serve. Protect.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can feel people disagreeing with me or seeing it from a different perspective or conspiracy theory on it. I mean, whatever. But I think, man, going down that slope, if this officer ends up on trial for it. Now, I'm not saying an investigation. Always do a thorough investigation. I mean, a deep dive investigation. But if he ends up on trial for it, man, that's going to have me like what?
And it's going to have all the police officers going to quit. Be like, what? They're all going to quit.
You're probably going to be like, what? And if they all quit, they all quit. No skin off my back. Something needs to. As I've said on probably every single episode, the system is broken and needs to be reformed, or whatever. Not reformed, reformed. It needs to be completely decimated, and a new system needs to be put in place because this one does not work. It's not working for Black people. It's not working for people of color in general.
Yeah,
or whatever. So in my opinion, it needs to be reformed, much similar to the way it was in Camden, New Jersey.
There are countless examples. I mean, far too many that we have witnessed during our lifetime. Hell, not during our lifetime. In the last 2-3 years that we have witnessed.
Right.
Of people of color.
We can say within the last week.
Yeah.
Because there's been three other highly publicized officer shootings.
Yeah. I haven't dove into the one where the warrant was being served and ended up in I think that was Elizabeth City, maybe North Carolina or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there've been more circumstances of this than I can even remember. And it's sad when you can't remember every name or you get the names confused because there've been so many. Yeah. But man, this one is different, man. Like I don't see it. Like cause I'm all for a thorough investigation. That should be part of the process. Anytime an officer fires his weapon, it should be somebody's killed or injured. It should be an investigation. That's just the way it should be. I really think most officers don't. I know a lot of officers that go through their whole career without ever firing their weapon. You know.
Exactly.
But for this officer to end up on trial, man, that's a different animal right there.
It'll be it would be one hell of a karmatic karma. I can't say, but it'll be one hell of a karma coming back from 400 years of wow. It would be. I mean,
it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame if there's one officer caught that though when he was literally, in my opinion, I know it's just my opinion, doing what he's supposed to do. And to Diamond's point, actually saving the life of another citizen who was in imminent danger. Like that, it'd be crazy for this dude, this officer, be the one to suffer any type of repercussion like that.
Yeah,
right.
Being the what you would say the proverbial sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
so,
that's not cool.
But the reality is there's tons of people out there that are questioning why was his gun the first thing that he pulled out? Because when she came charging through, you couldn't see a knife. or whatever. You just saw a girl charging at another girl. You didn't see the knife until she got close and started to bring it out or whatever. So people are asking, why was the gun the first thing that he took out? Why didn't he first grab for his taser? Because had he grabbed for his taser first, that's, like I said earlier, that's probably what he would have used to stop her.
No.
So
he
that's the other side of the discussion. Why is that the first thing that he grabs?
So you got to get the 911 call first, right? Because you got to find out, was there a call with the person with the knife attack? Then that I froze. That changes his mindset going into it if he already knows that this woman has a knife and is going around the party. So you got to check out the 911 call. He was far away from her. I don't think the taser would have shot that way. And if he could have tasered her, she might have still stabbed the girl in the neck. So he should have shot her.
Well, here's the deal, man. He put up on his house, right?
He was 8 to 10 feet away from her. And a taser is accurate up to 12 to 15 feet.
Here's the deal. He put up on his house. Commotion going on. People running out. Somebody stopping somebody on the ground. Somebody comes flying past with a knife. His hand should have been on the gun from the time he got out the car with all that going on. None
None of that was happening until he got up close.
That's what I'm saying, though. But as soon as that person comes flying out the house,
there's no reason for him to have his hand on the gun.
When he come into that situation like that, somebody comes flying out the house, somebody gets thrown to the ground.
No,
like in my situation,
he walked up. Like I said, once he got up there, he asked the question.
Yeah.
Somebody answered the question.
Yep.
And then after that, then Micaiah comes and charges at another girl. So you're saying that when you see one woman charging at another woman, he should have had his hand on his gun then?
Man, when there's that type of incident where you don't know what's happening in that time frame, and then that person gets thrown to the ground, right? Then somebody runs out, the father runs out and starts stomping the person on the ground. Then Micaiah runs towards somebody else. I mean, what should he go for the what do you call it? What's the stick called again? The
taser,
baton.
Yeah, the baton first, and then upgrade to the taser, and then go to the gun in that time.
Yes, those are the rules. Those are the rules of engagement.
Well, I don't know that. I haven't been through police training, but also
I've had conversations with law enforcement. Donnie's had the same conversation that I've had. Or whatever, we've gone through this ad nauseum. Brandon, you have access to talk to an officer who is a training officer. You can have that conversation as well. But what I'm telling you, like 100%, that the first thing that you do is not to go to the most lethal form to stop someone. You have
maybe during a traffic stop.
You have to meet force with force.
Man.
There's different situations.
There's a mass shooting. You're supposed to walk in with your baton. There's a mass shooting. You walk in with your baton. No,
you meet force with the same and one level above force. That's
she had a knife. He had a gun.
Conversation. That's the conversation that Brandon, that you and I had with that officer yesterday. That's what he said.
She had a knife. He had a gun. He used the gun. One step above.
No. Donovan, that's he did not know she had a knife until afterwards. He already
You don't know that.
I do know that because you can see it on the video.
No, you don't know that. You didn't see the knife. Hold on, bro.
Here's what I do know,
You didn't see the knife because you weren't there. You looking at a video. You don't know what that man saw when he pulled up on the screen.
I don't know what he saw either.
She put a knife from her titties. She put a knife from, bro. She had a knife the whole time.
Well, here's what I do know. He didn't use the gun until he saw the knife. Is that correct?
Right, but he could have also used a non-lethal. He could have used the taser. If he had the taser out, he would have used that taser on.
He'd be dead. And y'all be like, why? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
how was she been dead?
When did she pull the knife out, Eve?
When she turned around.
she had the knife the whole time. You don't know that he didn't see her with the knife. Like you said, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. He might have saw her with the knife.
He pulled out his gun. You can watch the video.
Well,
I've seen the video.
We won't know what he saw until there's an investigation, right? I mean, we won't know the details.
We won't know what he saw. We won't know what he saw until there's a trial. If there's an investigation, you're not gonna hear a readout of it. Or whatever. What you're gonna hear is a talking head that's gonna say, we performed an internal investigation, and the findings from that investigation say that we either did not have enough for a trial or do have enough for a trial. That's all that you're going to hear. So the only way that we will hear what he has to say about it is if there actually is a trial.
They don't need to arrest that man.
I don't want to hear what he has to say about it. I want to see a trial. But I do think Jason's point of why do different circumstances like these, why do we see tasers used more often than guns used in other situations? I think we all could probably offer our own theory on that, right? And probably be consistent. But I think that's more of the question, or how they train to choose the taser over the gun.
It'll be consistent, but it won't be unanimous.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, nothing's unanimous in this world, but I think that's more of the question. But like I said, my final statement is I don't blame the officer in this particular situation. It happened so fast, and I think, man, I'm obviously not trained to process that type of situation, but I can't see how he made a ill judgment in this particular case. It's sad that somebody passed away. It's sad that had to happen, but yeah, I don't know.
And my last, I guess, statement on that is for me, I would much rather him have tased her when she, even if she ran up, tased her immediately, put her down, and then ask questions later. Like, people are, oh, why you tased her? Listen, the taser is gonna wear off. She's not dead. Even tased. I would have tased the father too. You're kicking, you're stopping another woman. I'm gonna tase you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just tase everybody. And then be like, okay, let me tell y'all what I tased y'all.
Not tase everybody.
Tase party.
Tay got tased too, and man, come on.
You want a piece of Hollywood coal?
Everybody getting
it with Jason around.
You get a tase. Damn, over.
At least I can talk to you afterwards.
I agree with Jason. I think everyone involved, including the officer, probably wish that had been the case. But just seeing how fast things went on tape, right? So we saw it on video and it went that fast.
Yeah.
In person, probably went at lightning speed. So,
but that's the same
thing with that taser, right? That taser might not have taken her down. That's the only thing, right? That's the only hang up with that. And that taser doesn't take her down. Then you're looking at a whole nother situation of she still has the ability to grab that, stab that girl.
Yeah. And I was thinking that too. I mean, at a point when she was in front of the girl, if the taser was used. Not prior to Jason's point, but
yeah, I was thinking like she's charging. I'm gonna tase you, put you down, and then tase you and then tackle you. Like man, it's so much. I don't know.
Jason gonna go find an engineer, come out with an automatic taser, and it got like 40 rounds in it.
It's like a drone. It's just gonna drop down.
Just throw it down and boom, everybody tased.
Somebody from Georgia Tech, holler at Jason Loudon.
Yes, sir.
Got an idea for you.
I got one.
It's kind of like Black Lightning.
Yes,
that
All right, we got something else. I'm done talking about Ma'Khia Bryant.
But the thing about it is interesting though is the case of the officer who shot the kid or whatever. He had air fresheners in his car. Or whatever, and she shot them, and you can audibly hear her say, "Oh my God, I shot him," and she said she thought it was her taser. That to me, I'm like, well,
I don't
why did you act like you? They don't look alike, they don't feel alike in your hand or whatever. How did you confuse that? Or whatever. So that's the thing. So
I need an investigation and a trial on that one, personally.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's forthcoming.
Yeah.
All right, like this has been a pretty spirited I think. Brandon, you promised a Jason Louder story. Jason, you have a project that you want to talk about?
Yes.
So why don't you? Who wants to go first?
You know what? I did want to tell the story, but I can't tell the story and do it justice to just how funny it was. So I'm gonna let it live in my memory. Those that were there, we can reflect on it and laugh. But you know, it's just
Jay,
you had to be there.
We'll talk to you about it later. Just know that you were like, whoa, whoa.
Y'all gotta tell me.
You remember that, Jay?
He said he don't remember it.
So Kelly was there. It was at a Taco Bell on Roswell Road. Kelly was there. You were there. D, were you there?
Either you're gonna tell the story or you're not gonna tell the story, but we're not gonna tease everybody.
Man, okay, so I'll try and tell the story, but it's a classic. You had to be there.
Yeah.
So this was, I feel like it was probably before a football game or something, probably Riverwood, North Springs, because of the area. But we had gathered at a Taco Bell on Roswell Road. I remember being there, Eric being there, Kelly Jones being there. I thought Donnovant was there. Jason was definitely there. Absolutely. But anyway, so we all go up to the counter. We place our orders, like 10 tacos for 79 cents or something crazy like that, right? One of those deals. Yep. And we're all, so I'm sitting down with Kelly and E, and I think Donnovant. Might have been somebody else there. Jason Hell might have been there too. I don't know. So something tells me he might have been there. But anyway,
everybody government name shit.
Yeah, so everybody that went to school was there. But anyway, so we all sit down. Jason goes to the bathroom to wash his hands because he was on the hygiene before COVID, right? Like he was really on that. So he goes down the hallway and around the corner. We're all sitting there about to eat, and then like out of nowhere comes running out the bathroom like screaming. I'm thinking we got to be out, and he's like, my hands are. But he had everybody in the restaurant was about to dip. Everybody was about to dip. He comes screaming out the bathroom. I'm like, man, what's chasing him? It was hilarious, man.
I remember that, yo.
It was just you turned on the water, it shot out real quick, and it was just that.
Yeah.
And we were like, I was like, bro, like you didn't think that water was gonna come out the sink?
Real talk, though, man.
Sandy Springs got that high pressure on their water, Yeah.
Yes.
Real talk.
I remember that joint, yo.
I say this to everybody, man. Like, I distinctly think of three people as being like the funniest people I ever met. Jason Loudon is definitely one of them, and it's all authentic, man. Yeah, like
wow.
And
I can't go to a Taco Bell without thinking about that every time. It's the craziest thing, man.
Yo, you know what? And Taco Bell, they have a new beat. They're doing beyond plant. They're doing plant-based tacos now.
Are they really?
Well, most of their meat, the meat not real anyway. So.
There goes that Taco Bell sponsorship. I was working on it. I mentioned your name 3 times. Eric killed it just like that.
I'm gonna edit it out.
Del Taco was on that a while back too. Del Taco was on the plant-based stuff.
Oh wow!
Okay. I love a good Del Taco, but
that's dope.
Good stuff.
All right, man. Jason, tell us about your new project, bro.
Yeah, man. So there's a movie coming out on Netflix called They Cloned Tyrone, and it's starring Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, and Tiana Paris. Yeah. And so man, I was blessed to be able to work on that project, man. And it was so dope. It was super dope. I didn't get a chance to meet Mr. Fox. Not yet. Because he was filming Spider-Man at the same time. So whenever I would shoot, he wouldn't be there. But I did get to meet John Boyega, and that was super cool, man. Super down-to-earth guy. And the guy who actually directed
and wrote British accent.
Yeah, bro.
It's a real British accent.
It's a real British accent. But he wouldn't go into the British accent until after we finished filming each night. You know what I'm saying? He had a straight Southern Atlanta Decatur accent.
Oh wow.
His voice coach was amazing. So I was like, damn. But yeah, man.
Look out for that.
Yeah, look out for that. They cloned Tyrone, and it's really dope because it's kind of like a Boys in the Hood meets let me see, Inspector Gadget.
Oh,
yeah,
got me thinking now. I'm like, okay,
very interesting, but also with a twist of conspiracy theory. The spook who sat by the door I think as the underpinning. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely makes you think. I'll say that, but it's funny as shit.
I'm gonna watch it. Okay, can I tell my Jamie Foxx story real quick?
I'm excited about that, but I'm gonna do one thing though. That's Oscar award winner Jamie Foxx.
Can I tell my Jamie Foxx story?
That's
and
right.
John Boyega's was Finn in Star Trek, Star Wars, and two of the biggest movies on the planet for a couple of years. So
yeah,
big stuff.
Go ahead, Striggs. What's your story?
And I think you were there, and I think Eric was there as well too. This took place in Buckhead at an IHOP. Y'all remember that? So there we go. So we're coming out of the clubs after running the streets on a Saturday night. What do we do after we leave the club, right? Got to go get something to eat, right? So we go to this IHOP that's right just north of Far Road in Buckhead. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I think it is.
Nah.
It's not there. Okay. All right, cool. So anyway, we go there. We sit down. I don't think there's a line, but there's some people in the restaurant. And we sit down, getting ready to order, and then all of a sudden we're told, what, E? You don't remember?
I'm gonna let you go. Let's go.
All right, so we sit down there to eat, and all of a sudden the manager comes like, yeah, so we can't serve y'all tonight. And we're like, what? We're looking around thinking, is it closing down? Is there a gas leak or what? They're like, nah, well, we have a VIP guest that's going to be eating here tonight, so we're going to have to ask everybody in the restaurant to leave. What? I'm like, man, who is keeping me from my pancakes? Yes, sir. Mr. Fox shut down the IHOP at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and kept me and like 4 of the bros for getting pancakes. It was crazy. I was heated. I didn't watch a Jamie Foxx. Your movie, the show you talking about, gonna be the first Jamie Foxx movie I watched since then. I was boycotting up until this point. Kept me from my pancakes. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
You remember that night, E?
So Jamie Foxx, you owe us pancakes.
We pancakes. That's right. Facts.
Bad stack.
20 years later.
He's a talented actor.
Give me my pancakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great stuff, man.
That's a blessing, man.
So hear me out. Episode 13 is in the books. Jason Louder, thank you, bro.
Great to see you, Jay.
Thank y'all,
Be safe, bro.
Good to see
Blessings,
y'all,
man.
Blessings.
Like, subscribe, comment. Please comment. Don't text me. Don't call me. Comment on the video.
I hate when
Be kind, help others, make a difference. Chill.
That's right.
I love it.
Do better, be better.
Yeah, man.